Hello, good afternoon, or morning, or evening, I don't know. Novella here, I'm your English coach as usual, and today we're having a new free online lesson regarding business English. And what we are going to take a look at today is some vocabulary related to job searching. Okay? Before we start, just a piece of information which might be useful for you. If you go on my blog www.novellabenedetti.it, you will find the Italian transcript of this lesson. So in case you find it a bit difficult to follow or you want to double check if you understood everything, yes, feel free to go to visit my blog and have a check. At the same time, I encourage you to subscribe to Resfaba, my monthly newsletter. Every first Monday of the month, I send out some inputs and highlights as to English related to music. And of course, all the information regarding my proposal for English courses and coaching sessions. So yes, if you want to, www.novellabenedetti.it. And if you're watching already this video from my website, welcome back and thank you for being here. So let's start with this new business English lesson. So on my blog, you can find, besides the Italian transcript, also the link to another free lesson, where I dealt with the topic of job search. In the other lesson, you can find some sentences which might be useful for you when you look for a job or you write an application. Today, what we are going to focus on, not sentences or content, but rather vocabulary, okay? So to begin with, normally you look for a job, you search for jobs. To look for or to search are the same, they are synonyms. And then you finally find something that you really like and you decide to apply. In English, you apply for a job, okay? Be careful with the preposition, it's always to apply for. When you apply for a job, you might be asked to send a form or the standard CV and letter. In any case, these all together, those documents are called application or job application. And the person who submits those documents is normally referred to as applicant or candidate. So we have a very useful word here because we can use it in three different ways. We have to apply for, the verb, application as a noun, and applicant again as a noun referring to the person, applicant or candidate. As I mentioned to you shortly before, you may be asked to send a CV or resume. Okay, you can use both words, CV and resume. I've seen the word resume spelled in very different ways, sometimes with French accent, sometimes not. Please refer to the Cambridge Online Dictionary if you want to have the official version on how to spell this word, that sometimes you find it wrong even on blogs written by native speakers. So yes, normally you send a CV or a resume and a presentation or a motivation letter, okay? Just like in Italian, presentation and motivation letter. Sometimes, however, companies or institutions, they might have their own form that they ask you to fill in, compilare un formulario to fill in a form, okay? And of course the form will have pretty much the same kind of information you normally write on your CV or resume. If you're lucky, after all this process, you might be invited for a job interview. Il colloquio di lavoro per loro un'intervista, a job interview, where you will probably, I suppose, speak about your work experience, so not working or labor experience, work experience, and your qualification, uguale all'italiano le qualifiche, qualifications. During the job interview, it's very common today that people ask whether they are going to be working from an office or from home. And I'm not quite sure why, but in Italy we normally speak about smart working. And normally we don't really do smart working. For us it's more remote working. Smart working in Italian would be lavoro agile. I don't know, maybe you work in a company that gives you lavoro agile, but most of the time when I speak with people, they are not doing smart working, they're doing remote working. That is normal office work done at home instead of in the office. So yes, don't know why we translate it that way, but yes, smart and remote working. And that would be it as to those specific vocabulary. Then I wrote down for you four expressions, job related, which might be useful for you during a job interview. So the first one is side job. Okay, side job. What is a side job? A side job is a job you carry out beside your main one. So let's say that your main job is in an office from 9 to 5, and then let's say that you work in a bar from 8 to 10, then the job in the bar, it's a side job, okay? It's a job that you do together with your main job. And if you want to learn this word and really remember it and have a glimpse of other job-related work, there is a really nice episode of 6-Minute English about side jobs. I believe the title is the same, side jobs. So if you search for it, you will find it. Another expression which might be useful for you, as in Italy we do it a lot, they might ask you about odd jobs, especially if you're a student or you have completed your university studies not too long ago. Now, an odd job è un lavoretto, in the same way as we normally think in Italian. Another expression, very typical, is job hopping. Job hopping is when you hop from one job to another, so you change jobs quite often, okay? In Italy, sometimes this is seen as a negative thing, like if you are that kind of person that cannot settle down really. Abroad, this is not looked at the same way, actually. So yes, job hopping, it's not necessarily a negative, does not necessarily involve a negative connotation. Last expression I wanted to share with you today is gig worker. A gig worker is a person who does a number of related but different jobs for different clients. Can be a freelancer or not, it depends. For example, a gig worker might be a guy who, or a guy or a woman who, for example, I don't know, in one project you work as cameraman, in the other one you are the film director, in the other one you take care of the video editing. So they're all related to the video making sector, but they're all different tasks. And as a gig worker, you do a bit of everything within this field and for different clients again. So that's it for our lesson today. We went through the words to apply for, application, applicant or candidate, to fill in a form, CV and resume, presentation or motivation letter, job interview, work experience, qualification, smart working, remote working, side job, odd job, job hopping, and gig worker. And that's it for today. Thank you for your time. I hope you found these inputs useful in your learning English. If you have any questions, or if I forgot some expression that it would be important for you to know, please just contact me and I will help you very happily. What else? As I mentioned, if you're watching this video from my website, thank you for being here. If you're watching this video from YouTube, please feel free to refer to my website. You can find all the links here below. In order to find the Italian transcript, number one, the Italian transcript of the lesson, and number two, the link to subscribe to Res Faber, my monthly newsletter to learn English. I send it out every first Friday of the month and it's completely free, and I provide you with new inputs when it comes to English related to music. And that's it. Thank you for everything.